Hello, everyone. Welcome to issue number 4 of Beyond the Cowl. I'm Michael Ramos.
And I'm Marcus Arribes, back
Ar-
once again with another issue.
Arribes.
Arribes. Yeah, man. Um, how's it going, bro?
Bro, it's going good. We're making our way through this pandemic. We're getting ready for Christmas. So I'm super excited for that. We went and got COVID tested today to make sure that we're all good Christmas holidays. And that
Yeah,
is
man.
a quite
That's important.
it's
See family
oh
in the
yeah.
next coming days and for the holidays, and you know, we got all these vaccines coming out, so there's hope on the horizon, right?
And then I'm finally trying to convince Jessica to do a Star Wars marathon for Christmas with me because we're gonna have a whole week off. I mean, we're gonna probably stay back home a couple of days after Christmas, and so we're gonna have some downtime. So I'm trying really hard to convince her to watch the entire. I would want her to watch the original six first before we go into uh the most recent trilogy. But I'm trying to get her to watch any Star Wars because she has seen zero Star Wars.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Well, that's a lot of catching up to do. You have a lot of film time that you're gonna be looking at if
yeah,
that's the case.
and that's not even including watching the Clone Wars show, watching Rebels, Mandalorian. I basically just want her
Oh
to
my
watch.
God.
I know she's seen nothing. We were already falling in
That's
love, and I found out.
that's like me with Harry Potter. I've never seen a Harry Potter movie ever.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious, man. So,
Okay,
I was actually last night. I was actually watching the films that made us by the original series by Netflix. It's pretty cool series. If you've never seen it, it's the same kind of concept as the toys that made us. So,
Oh, I didn't know they made one. The films that made us. Really?
yeah, I was watching Home Alone.
Oh my god. They talk about
Yeah,
that movie.
yeah, and how like it almost never happened, and the whole thing was actually filmed, like the whole house, the outside of the house was filmed in location in Chicago, and then the inside of the house they built a house inside of a gym at an abandoned school, which is like pretty cool, man. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. And they kind of just go through all the like how it almost never happened, and the developing, you get into the development of bringing on the cast, and then the script, and then you know them going through the set and building the set and whatnot, and how the movie actually got filmed. So it's actually pretty cool.
So here's a fun little fact about Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin was a super bright kid. He had a photographic memory. So they would tell him for his audition, hey, you need to read scenes 3 and 4. Well, his and his dad's strategy was they would go through the script, they'd find the longest, most complicated dialogue for his character. He'd memorize that line. They'd go in, all right, uh, Macaulay Culkin, let's go. And he would do the longest, most difficult dialogue and do that in front of them. And they would be like, "Oh no, we're reading pages 3 and 4," and they would act dumb. They'd be like, "Oh my god, we're so sorry. We thought you wanted the long, complicated dialogue." Normal. Well, and then he would do the normal dialogue, but that's his way of impressing the director and producers for all his roles. He would do the longest section for his character. He would do it right then and there on the fly, completely memorized because he had a photographic memory, and that's his way of standing out to the other kids.
Yeah, man, that's talent, bro. And he's a good actor, and or was a good actor, so you don't see him in the limelight anymore with everything going on in his life. But you know it's true, is he had talent. He
Mm-hmm.
probably still does, but movies you really see it shine.
Yeah, he
So
he produces a. It's called. I think I probably might be butchering this. It's called Bad Bunny. It's a online it's like the Onion kind of. It's like an online article where they do like fake funny stories about real events, and so that's what he puts all his passion into.
okay, at least he's still doing something.
Yeah, he walks when he does all this stuff. He always wears bunny ears. He he did a cover band that they did all songs about pizza, and then he either is staying in New York or he's at his house that he owns in France. So he spends both times in France and in New York.
Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, it's when I listen to his interview with Joe Rogan, you're thinking, oh my god, this guy's gonna seem like he's like a wash up, No, he's chilling. He's living his life, and he's drinking and eating and being merry. He's like completely like, oh, I like my lifestyle. He goes, I still make a lot of money off royalties, and I just low key, I'm just chill.
Oh, that's cool, man. Especially when you hear all these, child stars that, blew their life away and stuff like that. So, it's always good. It's always good to hear. You never want to see anybody like, down in the dumps or,
Hmm.
ruin their life with other things. So that's always good to hear.
What's up with you? How are you doing this week?
Pretty good, man. Just God was able to do a little bit of catching up on reading and stuff like that. So, um, you know, um, kind of looking into some interesting things that I think you'll be interested in as well, especially with the things that we're just talking about prior to the starting the podcast, especially with all the new news that came out. Like I said, there's always news that's coming out in this industry, so the revolving door of news and updates and cool little things everybody can be excited about for the future. So um, why don't we get into that?
Yeah.
So let me kind of share my screen so that I kind of wanted to go over the first thing I want to talk about was the new ongoing series that just got announced. The Joker, he's getting his own series,
Hmm.
and looking into it, you kind of like the Joker is big money for DC. If you kind of look, or and Warner Brothers as a whole, actually, if you kind of look at what the Joker property's actually done, you see the Joker movie,
Hmm.
which is like one of the first movies to rated R movies to make over $1 billion in box office sales. So it's you have it actually grabbed 11 nominations for the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
including
when I saw Joker in theaters, I
yeah.
genuinely was just like, I was astonished because I honestly thought it was going to be bad, but like the cinematography, I mean, it was more than just the story. Just the entire film itself was just so beautifully done. Like even if you didn't like comic books, like I was shocked that it wasn't as comic booky as other films. And I know it's kind of weird to say, but it was just like its own unique. Like you don't even have to know anything about the Joker. It could be its own standalone thing that isn't even connected to Joker in general.
Right, exactly, and kind of with the flops that DC's had in the past, the Joker kind of stood out. I think a lot of people were looking for something different, and that's kind of what the Joker was. It was different. So you had the 11 nominees and for the Academy Awards, and including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor,
Hmm.
Best Screenplay. So I mean, that kind of in and of itself speaks for itself. And it grossed 335 million in the United States, and in Canada 738 million. So um, that's just Joker's pulling down a lot of money, and then you had the Batman, the Three Jokers issue number one alone selling over 300,000 copies, which is a huge number for today. So DC's really riding that horse of it seems
Joker
to be
hype.
riding the Joker and kind of you know going into it and listening to what the fans want, but why not? When it's so like popular and in demand, there's money to be made there, and DC's gonna kind of exploit that. But I'm excited about it. I'm a huge Joker fan. How about you?
Of course, I'm a huge Joker fan. I'm like in the I'm in like the kind of stage of like wanting to get Joker tattooed on me, but I don't know what kind of essence. I don't know if I want just a smile. I don't know if I want something else. Cause like, look, with my nerd tattoos, I like having symbolism, like little things that would make you think of Joker, like his smile. Like I think that'd be fun. I told you, I think I said this in the first episode. I would want to get half Batman, half Joker face, kind of like a thing. Or, ooh, what if I got a playing card and how it shows like the king, like how there's always two sides to like the king, the jack, or the queen. Half of it would be
Right.
Joker, and the other top half would be Batman.
That'd be pretty dope, man.
I got
Actually.
actually, I think that's my what I might do. I'm gonna write that down so I can remember.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm a huge Joker fan. Like, let me show you my little wall that I got up here of
Hmm.
kind of original art. If you can see behind me.
Yeah.
So, see this one right here is the Joker by Jock. This one right here is the Joker by shoot, what was his name? Johnny Desjardins, I think is how you say his name.
Mhm.
Joker by Clayton Crane. Joker by Manuel Martinez. Oh, and that's just a few pieces that I have framed. I have, probably like 10 more other pieces that, I got to choose which one go on my wall. And those are the ones that I have framed right now. So those ones were the ones that went up on the wall.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
Joker is honestly one of the most inspirational characters. Like just his whole mythology and his whole approach to everything. I mean, in any fiction is so satisfying. I mean, I love like we were talking in the last episode, like at the end of Three Jokers, he did this all because he wants to be the main problem. It's like to get his own wants. He goes to such extremes, and I love when like something doesn't work out. He goes, "Oh, well, that was a bad idea," or "Oh, I'm bored." Like he's so unpredictable. That's what I love about it.
yeah, and I think that's what a lot of the fans love about it too. It's just such a mystery, him and his background and everything like that. So let me share my screen.
Let me pull it up real quick.
All right, there we go. And, we'll kind of get into this article. Give me 1 second. Right here from CBR. Can you see it?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on full screen, and then I'm actually going to hide your screen so I can make your screen the main one. So give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
So yeah, I
go
mean
ahead.
the Joker. It's written. This is going to be a new ongoing series from what we're hearing, and it's like I said, it's still early. It just got announced at the time of this recording. So and here's kind of an article that CBR did the information that we do know.
Mm-hmm.
The creative team is going to be James Tynan and Guillermo March. James Tynan was actually on the current Batman run, the one that we just read,
Okay.
and he's actually been pretty popular with his horror anthologies coming out with uh, Image Comics. You have Department of Truth that he just came out that's super popular, and you have Something's Killing the Children that's also super popular. So he's pretty much in high demand right now, and he's kind of making his own name for himself with everything that he's done this year. And the article kind of gets into it. So you have CBR.com, the Joker Batman, Batman's main enemy scales up his own ongoing series. Um, Batman writer James Tynan and artist Guillermo March are continuing the Clown Prince of Crime's story post Joke War in
Right.
an ongoing series. So
Which we saw kind of where he gets left off, and Batman issue 100. He gets shot in the eye, and then you see him last at the diner, seeing Punchline basically saying, "Hey, like I was manipulated. I didn't really actually want to do that," and her kind of leaving like a almost like a cryptic message for Joker, and then him basically wanting to lay low and go back to the city because now Gotham has changed forever.
right, and then kind of getting back into the article, you have James Tynan, which is the author, stating, when I was approached by DC about the concept of ongoing series Spotlight the Joker, I thought, what would the book even look like? Tynan said in a statement. I'm excited to share this story in a way that honors everything that a series about the Joker can be, while coming at it from an exciting, unexpected angle. I'm
Mm-hmm.
also thrilled to continue working with Sam and Mirka to expand the Punchline story began in November
Mm-hmm.
as a backup feature in the ongoing Joker series. The Joker War was only the beginning of terror and mayhem we're creating. So
Nice. I like that. If they go with that same pace with Joker War, it's like it's super unpredictable, and that's what I loved about it. Is just like there's so much chaos going on, but everything is so elaborately planned.
yeah, and I think James Tynan, he's going to do a great job with this, with this series. So I'm super excited. I'm going to be picking up the issue, and then here's a couple covers that we have solicitations for already.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I
That
like
one is awesome. The second one I love, and the third is just
this one. I think I like the most, which is by an artist, Riccardo Frederici.
scroll back up to
He's
the
more
middle, and then the first one again.
yeah. This was the second reveal cover that we have, and this one is the first one.
Mm-hmm. The reason why
So and then
I had you go back up is I wanted to see what his left eye, like how they depict
I feel
how it is, because I mean he got shot in the face.
right. So no, I'm sure that it's going to be in continuity. So I'm pretty sure that when you see him in the series, it'll be the same way that he left off at.
Mm-hmm.
And this book sale 3/9/21 for $4.99. So I will definitely be picking that one up.
Yeah. Well, you sent me another article that I know you don't have it pulled up, but I just want to bring up that I'm actually really interested to read not so much the story, but the art style is that Joker manga that they have coming out early this year. Also, I think it's coming out.
Oh,
I can't remember if it's coming out January or March.
right. Yeah, I mean, like I said, with everything with Joker being so popular in Japan, it's like they're gonna beat that horse to death, man. But the thing is with James Tynion, he's writing so many different books right now. It's just like I wonder when he's gonna run out of juice.
Right.
Because I think you can have so many ideas before you're like, man, I've hit a wall, man, because he's got so many books going on right now that it's just like, how many ideas does this guy actually can he
Well,
keep coming up with? You know?
I mean, I think with anything with comic books and like coming up with ideas, you're gonna have some really, really good ones. Some like little gold nuggets are that you're gonna think of later down the road, and then now. But I mean, obviously, there's gonna be some issues where it's like, okay, that was kind of it. Like for me, it was issue 102 that we just read. Like it was mainly Batman talking to Catwoman about what the state of their relationship will be like now that everything has changed. And like, yeah,
Right.
like that's kind of cool. Like I like, that he has a romantic relationship with Selena. But at the end, I got done with the issue and I was like, like I would be okay if this was just like a quick little page instead of a full book dedicated to it. So I think there's gonna be definitely like areas to where like, yeah, you might be like, there's gonna be like some filler issues definitely in there, where there's gonna be like,
Right.
just like a little something.
We'll get into that in a little bit later. A little bit later, so we can talk a little bit more in depth about those issues 101 through 105 and our
Yeah.
what we thought about it. Yeah, and moving on with same news with more of the Joker. Did you hear about the? We spoke about
National
it briefly in the
Film
beginning, but yeah,
Registry
man,
as Dark Knight
National has Dark Knight,
and the Blue Brothers and
and
Grease.
yeah, man. So that's kind of saying something in and of itself as well, about that movie. But this was just announced, and this is a CNN article. Some musicals and superhero films made this year's list of America's most influential motion pictures to be introduced into the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress. And you know,
Hmm.
Christopher Nolan commented on it, and in this article, you can kind of see what he said. This is not only a great honor for us all who worked on The Dark Knight, and is also a tribute to all of the amazing artists and writers who have worked on the great mythology of Batman over the decades. You know,
Yeah,
so
I mean that's definitely a
I think
nod to. I mean Heath Ledger. I mean he won an award for this role, but to actually have this be put in there, I mean this film is a piece of history.
yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what the recognition it's getting with this National Film Registry ad. So I thought it was huge news and thought it was worthy of being talked about.
Mm.
So with this, the National Registry is like a statement by the librarian of the institution.
Mm.
These movies are selected because of their cultural, historic, and aesthetic importance to the national film's heritage.
Oh
And this
yeah,
year's title, blockbusters, musicals, documentaries, and diverse stories adapted from books to screen.
yeah.
So
I mean, if we just take out, if we just didn't mention about Heath, well, I mean, Heath Ledger's Joker performance was a huge thing for the film. But I mean, besides that, though, I mean, I loved how Christopher Nolan tried to make everything as real as possible. Like, not a ton of CG. Like the semi flipping over, that wasn't CG. The building blowing up where Joker's walking out and he's trying to get the thing to work. Which, by the way, fun fact, that was all improv. The bomb's delayed and he was trying to
right,
figure out why. So that reaction was actual, like a raw reaction. It wasn't rehearsed.
yeah,
And then also just like the burning pile of money when he jumps down and slides down. I love that scene. Love that scene.
yeah, and the plot is just so intricate as well. Like I said on one of the other in the earlier episodes, where you have even the opening scene, man, where it's just like, you have each henchman killing each other. You have the henchman killing one after another, till it finally gets to the Joker, and he just, as soon as he gets the money loaded, he kills the last henchman, hops in the bus, and just boom, takes off
Mm-hmm.
in a behind a row of other buses. So it's just like the plot and details in that movie are just so intricate. And even from him putting on his own makeup and kind of painting it on himself, like it's so realistic, man. Like they make it so realistic, and they thought about all these little details before into the movie, and now, like I said, it's getting the recognition that I think it deserves.
Yeah. Like him licking his lips wasn't actually
Yeah,
something he decided to do about the character. So the scars are essentially like a rubber adhesive, and so it would dry out. And so to keep it wet so it sticks, he kept licking his lip. So that whole like him like doing that snake lick thing that everyone is now everyone takes that little thing and they think like, okay, like that to do a Heath Ledger impression, you gotta lick your lips and like you gotta keep doing that. And he did it because he had to keep that moist for the aesthetics to stay on.
right, and that's cool, man. And then, did you know that those little short, like little film, like from VHS camera, like that was actually Heath Ledger doing that? You know, aside from the script.
No, I didn't know that. I thought so. Wait, so he did that on his own, or was that something that they just kind of like?
No, so that was something that it was all his idea. So that whole him filming himself as the Joker, and that ransom like little video
Mhm.
is Heath Ledger all on his own, man.
Really, that's actually kind of cool. I mean, like, I would love, like, would you, if they published his Joker journal that he wrote while he was getting into character, if they published that for for the public to read, would you read it?
Of course, man.
I'm so interested to see like what
Of
he
course.
put in
I
there.
mean, yeah, and I'm sure there's details on that probably other people have. Maybe, I mean, it's got to have been passed down to either his family members. I don't. You can't. I mean, somebody, so if somebody knows information out there, it might be public, I don't know, but you gotta kind of figure like how deep it kind of goes into him getting into character, and
Hmm.
it's just crazy to think about, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like he said he would write like some really disturbing things to mentally get himself to that point.
right, and
And
that's kind of
hmm
the Joker. He kind of embodied you know that role of the Joker, man, and it sucks that he passed, and he left behind a great film, the one that this film, and it's his work speaks for itself.
yeah, I mean, he really set the bar. I mean, because now it's like when Joaquin Phoenix got announced to do Joker. I mean, really anyone after Heath Ledger and now Joaquin Phoenix, it's like how serious are you about this role? Like, are you willing to push your mental health to a point to where it might finish you? Do this because arguably that's kind of what Heath Ledger did. Now people say on set, other cast members have said he talked about his daughter. He seemed totally fine. It was kind of just a surprising accident that would happen to him, which is tragic. But like now, with the intensity he took for this role, anyone else's Joker, man, like that's a hard thing to fill.
Right, and I the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker, I think in my mind will always be Joker for me. Like it's
Hmm.
always a matter of opinion, and people, like I said, like different Jokers. Some people
Oh
like
yeah.
Jack Nicholson, Joaquin. It's all a matter of opinion, but for me, Heath Ledger's Joker, it embraces and embodies what I think the Joker should
Hmm.
be. And Joaquin Phoenix did a great job too. And the funny thing about that is, I actually had my aunt. She had a time. She was a little bit mentally ill, and she had. I remember when growing up as a kid, she had an uncontrollable laugh, and that when I seen that movie, it reminded me exactly of my aunt.
You're right.
So not as bad as it's portrayed in the film The Joker, but she had an uncontrollable laugh. So as soon as I seen that, it kind of took me back, where I was like, "Whoa, that's my aunt
Hmm.
had a laugh like that," where she couldn't stop laughing, man. And I was
Yeah.
little kid, you're like, "What the hell's going on?"
Yeah. Well, I
You
mean,
know?
what I mean, like for you, okay. Here, we'll do a couple questions about Joker for you, and then we'll move on to the next thing. But like, what? I'm trying to think how to phrase this question. What to you is your most important quality for a Joker? Not just Heath Ledger, but like someone like a new person who's becoming Joker. You watch the performance. What's the one thing that you're looking for? Like, what's the visual or hearing? Like, what's the one thing you need to know to be like, okay, they nailed it. They did a pretty good Joker.
Oh, it's gotta be, in my opinion, like you have to have a Joker to me that seems like he doesn't care about anything. In his mind, it's so detailed. Everything he does is so detailed and plot out already. It's just the attitude is like anarchy, but his mindset is just he's so smart and you don't realize it. So you all you see is the anarchy, but in his mind, he's already got everything planned out, and he's just so
Mm-hmm.
smart that you can't see the quality you can't see about the Joker, because all you see is the attitude towards anarchy, and the illusion that he doesn't care about anything, and the illusion that for me at least, that he's just a wild card. But in all reality, he's got everything plotted out. He's got everything planned out. He has plans for this, plans for that, and he's just so smart, and you don't realize it. So for me, I think that's what makes the character big.
Mm-hmm.
His attitude compared to his mental state of having everything planned out, and everything mapped out in his head, and his intellect. So,
Yeah,
and what
that's
about for you?
for me. Honestly, it's the cheesy jokes. Like I love when Joker's in a situation and it's like a very tense situation and he just makes a joke about it. Like I love when he does that. Like I mean, like like in Killing Joke, how he tries to make Batman laugh, how he does all those cheesy bad jokes that aren't supposed to be funny, but yet he's hysterically laughing at them. Those I love. To me makes a good Joker. And honestly, I the laugh. Like I love the variety in the laughs. For me, aesthetically for like Joker, I like it's all about their like how they sound, their tone. Because I'm a big vocal person, so I love hearing how they deliver the character through their voice. So those are kind of like my biggest things that I love about Joker. And like I said, the cheesy jokes are probably my favorite.
Right. Yeah, man. So everybody has their own little thing, and for me, that's what made the Joker, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, so
God,
but
I like now want to watch this movie for the rest of my day. Like I'm gonna put it on and just watch Dark Knight and watch the Joker and just be like, oh, just a pure art.
yeah, man. So, anyways, moving on to the next subject. Even though it's a quick little transition, I was showing you. Did you see? I'll pull it up. Do I still have the screen up?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So this was I seen the article on Bleeding Cool of Comic Connect, which is a website like an auction house website.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually auctioning off uh, Action Comics #1 Flakes, and if you can see the picture, it looks like just pieces of a comic book, like little pieces of a comic book, in a little baggie, man, like a little drug baggie for all you comic book fans,
Like
And
I
the
can't.
description reads, own a piece of history, piece of action, #1s that flaked off as the consigner expertly separated an incomplete brittle copy, one in our auction, and then CGC'd the pages. So, it's just funny to me how, you know, it's like this is up for auction, and it actually sold for $410.
Well,
And this sale ended at 12/16, which is today, the day that we're recording.
so I want what I want to know is who got these scraps and literally looked and go, there's some sucker out there who wants to pay money for this.
Yeah, man, you either got to be a hardcore fan or have nothing better to spend your money on. And I hope if you're watching this podcast, you aren't that person. So,
I know there's gonna be people that are like,
it's
I would pay for that, but it's like, what are you gonna do with that? You're gonna post it on your wall, your
I don't
drawer?
know. There's nothing to look at. There's no pictures. It's just like, oh, what do you?
Like someone's gonna
I
show
don't
up and
know,
it's gonna be
man.
like,
You got
hey, you know what this is? Yeah. And someone's gonna be like, I don't know, like trash or something. They're like, no, pieces of Action Comic #1.
I
The
know,
first
man. It just looks
Superman.
like a little drug baggie. You got your little comic crack in
Oh my
there.
god. Well,
uh,
it's like if you can't afford, I guess, issue #1, which is millions of dollars, then I guess like a couple of like little pieces of crumb, I guess, is the next best thing. Now, if it was like okay, now if it was like ripped up pieces of a page where you can like see print still, 100%, $400, yeah, that'd be cool. Like if it was like a tore up or like burnt page, but there's like no text, there's like no images.
Yeah, I know. There's nothing. It's just like, how do you even know what this is without even, having some kind of certificate of authenticity? You know what I mean? It's like it could be anything, but
You're basically spending
you
$400 to have do a weird flex.
yeah, man. And they actually sell single pages, like, and they slab them in CGC slabs, and they grade the single pages. Actually, it's no grade, I think. I don't remember off the top of my head, but they do sell single pages, which is, I mean, like a couple years back, they sold the page of the first appearance of the Joker. So, I would have been interested in that, but
Yeah,
um,
like that's a whole
if
page though.
yeah, you can't afford Batman #1, which is obviously the first appearance of the Joker and Catwoman as well. But you can't afford that. You kind of get priced out of buying the book, and then what's the next step you can go to? Okay, well, I can't get the book. I can get the actual first appearance on the page. So I know they sell things like that, and the page uh, sold a couple years back, I think, for the first appearance of the Joker. So you know, just it's if there's demand out there for it, I guess there's a market out there for it,
I
right?
guess. Not no grade, point 0.3. That's the worth. That's like the quality is a point 0.3, not a 1, not a 0, a point 0.3.
26 bids, man.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Well, at
To
least
the
it comes
best
with the certificate
to the
of
best
authenticity.
of the knowledge and expertise of the owner and staff of Comic Collect. The Action Comics #1 fragments staple are authentic and genuine. Hmm.
So it's real, man.
Yeah, if that guy is single, you better watch out. You're about to have women knocking down your door.
I know, man. Come in. I got something I want to show you.
Yeah. Oh my god, look
So
at
I
your
guess if you're a
collection, your
comic book,
statues. Oh no, no, don't look at those. Let me show you the real collectible that I
this
have.
this is what you want to see.
This is what you
And
came to
then,
see.
but anyways, oh, I was looking at just going through a Twitter feed earlier. I thought, let me bring it up. I was like, this had nothing to do with what we just talked about or whatever, but I thought it was cool, man. Like the new Aquaman Future State. When I
Mm-hmm.
seen previews for it, um, I thought I'd probably be picking this book up, but I thought, let me bring it up. I thought it was really cool. The colors on here are something like I've never seen before, man. Look at those colors on the artwork.
Yeah.
I've never seen colors like that on a book. And if that's the interior page, I was like, dude, those colors are so good, man. If you look at the little squid octopus, the squid right there,
Yeah.
and you
In the
have
background, you got
shark,
the jellyfish all around.
it's just like, dude, when I seen those colors, like, oh my gosh, that's so nice.
Wait, is that an internal page or oh it is. Look at
Yeah,
that.
those are previews. These are previews of an internal page, and I was like, man, this like I don't. I probably can I buy this book even if it didn't have words on it, man.
So do you notice
So
how I like when comic books do this? When an actor becomes so influential to a character, it will start changing the character's characteristics in like the newer issues. Like now he's not blonde. Now he has like dreads and a beard, a lot like Jason Momoa.
yeah, man, it's really all the interpretation of the writer and the artist and the direction they want to go. So I mean, when
Hey
you get
man,
a
you bring a little sex appeal to Aquaman, people are gonna dig it, man. Like that's the one like when Jason Momoa when I first saw Aquaman in the movie, everyone was like, I thought it was okay. I loved it. I thought it was great because you get a character who's so awesome, who for the longest time was like the butt of a ton of Justice League jokes, like, oh, we can do talk to fish, like on Robot Chicken. Bunch of places when they make fun of Justice League, he's always the butt end of the jokes. Now you take a badass dude like Jason Momoa and he makes Aquaman into like a certified badass. Like he is like you don't want to mess with Aquaman. Even in the water, on land, he's just as good as like any other Justice League member. And I thought that bringing that aspect to the character, more of a badass sense, was phenomenal.
yeah, and that movie made a ton of money as well. So
I loved it. I saw it
uh,
twice.
yeah, I saw it twice as too. I thought there were some parts that were a little cheesy, but overall, I really liked the movie.
Yeah, the whole Rome piece and the whole desert piece, they can cut that out. Like that was little
Yeah,
kid
there's
adventure.
parts that kind of hit a little lull right there in the kind of hit a little lull in the movie, but I thought it was a good movie overall.
Mm-hmm.
So I was super happy with it. I was happy that it did as well as it did in the box office. Um, but anyways, I thought I'd just bring that up because I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, no,
And
that is super neat. I like that.
yeah, and in other news, I actually follow uh, Felix Comic Art. They represent a bunch of artists, a bunch of comic book artists, and I thought it was cool that one of the artists that they do represent, his name is Ryan Stegman. I actually have a couple pieces of original art from him, so I liked his art before any of this ever happened, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was super glad to see that it did. It just sucks that the whole run of King in Black, which is the book that he's on right now, he's doing the art for King in Black, and Donny Cates is doing the script for King in Black.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was cool, man. His original art is actually going to a museum. Which one we don't know yet, but speaks volumes for his work, man. And here's kind of the article. I got this in email, but they have it on their website.
Mm-hmm.
So it just an update. It says when we mentioned yesterday that Red Stegman's King in Black original art issue has sold complete, and that the series is set to sell complete to one very motivated collector. Well, we've been given permission to share more details. The collector in question isn't just any collector; he's a curator. We'll let the organization make the eventual official announcement. But yes, Ryan's King in Black art is destined to be displayed in a museum. So that's huge, man.
Yeah.
Uh, what kind of museum? We don't know if it's going to be like a modern art kind of museum or maybe a comic book art kind of museum. But I thought that was huge news in the comic book world, and sucks that I can't own a piece of that any pages of the King of Black series. So it's a really good series and really good artwork. But I already actually have artwork uh
From Ryan.
from Ryan's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um
that's cool that you have like original artwork from him, because when his name gets bigger because of this museum, you're like, oh, I have original Ryan, and like that, and then your pieces are gonna go up in value because his name goes up in value.
well, yeah, that's kind of the theory, right? So I'm just gonna stop sharing my screen. But yeah, that's kind of the theory of I have a couple pieces from him, and hopefully
Mm-hmm.
those kind of go up in value. Let me see. I have one of the pieces actually right here.
I'll grab
Let
it.
me see. Yeah, man. So this right here, this piece, you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
This is an actually amazing Spider-Man piece for New Year Vows.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So I was I liked his art before it was even mentioned of going into any kind of museum or anything like that. And that's not my only piece from him. Actually, I have actually a couple more Venom pieces from him actually. So I collect quite a bit of original art, and like I said, his artwork is just so good.
Right.
Um, but it's in the other room, but let me grab it real quick and so I can show you.
Okay.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Well, we're waiting for Marcus to grab that little piece of art. Make sure you guys to go to our YouTube, our Instagram, our Twitter. Make sure to follow us, like, share, subscribe, interact. Let us know what you think of all these topics. Let us know if you have any opinions that you want to share with us. You can follow us on Instagram at Beyond the Cowl. You can follow us on Twitter at Beyond Cowl, and then on YouTube it's Beyond the Cowl.
All right, man. So I am back.
So you
Let
have
me.
so you have collectibles and art that overflow into another room in your house.
Yeah, well, I keep my art, my original pieces in my room. Um, I have still some framed artwork that I need to hang up. That's in my room. It's just I got to do a little bit of organizing. But I have a couple. I have two portfolios of original art.
Oh wow!
So
How much was each
yeah.
portfolio?
Well, The actual portfolio to put the artwork in is not that expensive. I think it was like $30 to buy, but each piece is a different price.
Oh, okay.
So
So it's
yeah,
not.
so
So
it
it's
just
not.
all depends.
Okay, I gotcha. So it's not like he had like a whole portfolio to sell. Like he was like, "Here's my whole portfolio." Like how some artists, will sell like, "Here's my sketch journal, my sketchbook. You can have it. It has all these different creations, these different characters I've worked on. First time I drew this character. Not anything like that."
These are kind of pieces that like I've kind of curated myself that I liked
Mm-hmm.
and that I like. You know what? I really like this art, or it speaks to me, or there's something in here that I thought was super important. Let me I want to have that as part of
Yeah,
my own and add that to my collection. And part of that was Ryan Stegman's art before. Like I said before, it was even mentioned that he was going to be his art was going to be displayed in a museum.
mm-hmm.
And this is one of the other pieces that I have from. Let me see. This is one of the other pieces that he did.
Wow,
From another, yeah,
that
that's one
looks
page.
that looks super good.
Yeah, and that's one page. And then let me see. I got this is Venom issue number 1. So on one side you have the pencils,
Mm-hmm.
and the other side you have the inks. So his
Wow,
inker, his name is JP Meyer. Um, so it's super cool artwork,
that's
and
super dope. So you had to get both those pieces individual, right?
yeah. So these pieces are from the yeah, they're from different storylines. I have another piece from
Mm-hmm.
issue number 1. This is a different piece from him.
Wow,
So you have, like I said, the pencils on one side and the inks on the other side.
that's awesome.
So yeah, man. So like I said, I loved his work before it got even that much notoriety. I mean, like I said, his work speaks for itself. So, but you know what? I got it. Why don't I just show it? So
Dude, yeah. I love seeing more and more of your collection. Like I've only seen maybe like 5-10% of it. Besides what you sent me and like what you have on the wall, you have so much more stuff.
yeah, man. So it's all a matter of time before I'm able to get everything organized and just, I'm just a hoarder, man.
Dude, hey, some people call it hoarding, some people call it collecting. I'm just what's limiting me from starting to go back to actual physically collecting comics and diving more into figures is just the fact that I don't have any space. Like once I told Jess, like my dream is to be able to do voices or something with voices for living to the point to where like we can afford a home. And then I would do something like what Troy Baker does, where he has a whole studio like below his house, right? So it's all closed off. It's all set up for him to do voices and music, all that stuff he wants to do. But within that area, I also want to fill it with like art and posters and books and statues. And I've already looked up some different cubbies I want to get that will line the walls. I put all my statues. I just want to get to that point in my life so bad.
Nice. And you see some of these other guys, like, these other guys that have just rooms and rooms full of, well, not rooms and rooms, but a room just full of statues, art, books. And it's just like, oh man, it's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to do something like that. But like I said, when I get more time to get organized and get everything framed, I want to eventually get to that point where I have, a nice collection of statues as well, as art and books and toys, man.
Yeah. Hey man, I feel you. I can't wait. Like my latest collection to my thing I was telling you was that Lego Batmobile. That thing is so
Yeah, yeah.
huge, and your advice was amazing. I want to put it into an acrylic case so it stays good. Um, and the thing like I would probably stick the stand into the acrylic case. I get it to stay because the Batmobile comes off it really easily. Of course, it's sitting on my collector shelf that I have right now in the living room, so it's collection dust. So I'll have to clean it off before I use it, but that is the biggest thing. And then eventually, not this year, but next year, I want to get the Lego Bat plane. I'm just waiting to have a little bit more room so I can because that thing can be mounted onto the wall.
Oh, nice, man.
So, but I want it to look like a plane. So I gotta wait until we get into a bigger place, and then I can build bat plane. They'll have the bat plane and the Batmobile for Michael Keaton's Batman, and start kind of adding more uniqueness to my collection.
Nice, man.
Perfect.
Nice.
You want to get into Batman issues 101 to 105?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
Alrighty. So first of all, if you had to, what were your first impressions with this last 5 issues?
I thought it was super interesting the route that Tynan's going. Because you got these relatively new characters and that he's introduced. You have the Clown Hunter and the Ghost Maker, and you're kind of seeing, the Ghost Maker and his rivalry with Batman throughout
Mm-hmm.
the issues, and you have another story within the story of Clown Hunter, and Harley Quinn's relationship. So
Right.
I thought it was cool with how James Tynion sets up, the story and how he goes through the story with, you know, adding another dimension to Bruce's history and his background, as well as providing new characters and, adding a dimension to the new character as well. So, and what did you think about it?
I thought it was super good. I love when we get to see a younger Bruce and we see him like I loved him in Batman Year One because we get to see him actually try out. That's why I love Batman Begins. That's why I love all these early stories of Batman, right? Because we know Batman and how he is now. We know why he has his code. We know why he's the best, but we don't know really how he got to become the best. We see snippets here and there, but I love when we get to dive more, and it's cool to see that he actually had like a rival, but like
Right.
not like how like they joke about how like any chance that Ghostmaker had, he tried to kill Bruce to prove that he was the better crime fighter. And the fact that there's a character who is arguably almost evenly matched with Batman, same upbringing, same skills, same code, besides a couple adjustments here, is really unique because then this can lead to like how will this character become more involved in Batman? Is he going to be part of the family? Is he going to be Batman's confidant that delivers Batman's morals through Southeast, through like the parts of Asia that he normally stays in? And just their whole dynamic, I thought was really interesting as you read more and more.
Yeah, and kind of the last issue before you get into Future State, which is issue I think 105, it leaves you with like Ghostmaker. They lead you to believe is going to be Bruce Wayne's new partner, helping him clean up crime in Gotham. But we'll see how long that lasts, if it's even true. So
So the
you know
the I did have a little bit of an issue with that. The whole build up,
what was that?
and it's like anyone who's close to Bruce has this tendency to try to push Bruce to do the one thing that he doesn't want to do. Ghostmaker's entire motivation to go to Gotham is he's sick and tired of Bruce basically not letting the city be free of crime and not doing what he needs to do to become the ultimate crime fighter, which Ghostmaker thinks that I'm going to push you to that point to show you that you can be better if you just let yourself do everything that you're supposed to do, which is basically killing. So the whole thing is them battling, him trying to prove a point, right? And you get to the end, and it Batman kind of won in a sense, but like he just goes, like please stay with me, help me clean up the city, because he lost his fortune, so now he has to become a new way of being Batman. And when he could,
Yeah,
and he just asks Ghostmaker just to help him, and he's like, okay, but I'm not wearing a bat symbol. I just thought like, oh man, you spent these 4 issues hyping about how he's weak and all this stuff, and Ghostmaker's doing, in my opinion, kind of a little unnatural to his kind of character buildup. So I was kind of bummed that he kind of just rolled over and was like, yeah, I'll help you, like nonchalantly.
yeah. That kind of, it just came kind of out of nowhere. Like, well, they stopped fighting all of a sudden. It kind of reminds me of Superman versus Batman. Like, Martha, why'd you say her name? And they just stop fighting.
And
It's
then
like
they're immediately
it's
best
so abrupt.
friends.
It's like so abrupt, man. It just like it
Mm-hmm.
kind of, okay, I see what you got. And it's funny because they had like a little pact where it's like, if you stay out of my territory, I'll stay out of yours, and that was kind of their deal. And then you kind of see Ghostmaker come back in the picture on Gotham all of a sudden, and then that's
Mm-hmm.
where they go to flashbacks of their training and everything like that.
Yeah, of them being young, and that whole sequence where Batman explains to Robin who Ghostmaker is and how he, knows him when they ran into him at a young mission when he was Robin, before he was Nightwing. I thought was super cool. And it's kind of interesting because you don't really often you don't find Batman having like deep friend connections, like arguably like a best friend.
Right.
And the way he talks about him, and the way he, he, when they're like being more like in a serious situation, like, Batman opens up to him, tells him about who he is, what happened to his family when they were younger. I mean, genuinely, this is almost like a best friend for Bruce. And it's kind of interesting to see this different side of his training, of the whole, um him actually having a friend that you don't know about, which is, very Batman like.
Yeah, and you see the dynamic between the two, like I said, in the the flashbacks with them in their training. And I think it's super cool. Ghostmaker has his little ghost net built into his
Mm-hmm.
costume, his little helmet. And you see in the series, you see Batgirl become Oracle again and behind the computer, and she can't hack into a system. Bruce like, don't even try. You're not gonna get. You're
Yeah.
not gonna get it. So I thought that was cool. And then in issue 103, what I thought was super cool, when Ghostmaker's trying to prove a point, like, I'm doing all these things that you can't do or whatever, where, if the dialogue goes like this, do you want to know what I did today? I've only been in Gotham for about 12 hours. I
Mm-hmm.
thought I'd ease into it, but there was so much to do. I leaked criminal activities of 14 different district judges of the Gotham Gazette to the Gotham Gazette. Your inept police are already taking them into custody. I've solved a string of homicides, and those same police hadn't linked together. The killer was clever enough not to try a gimmick or put on a costume. Uh, the man is already en route to your Arkham. I've also sent the FBI the location of 6 incoming shipments of heavy artillery from Santa Prisca. That was before I left my plane. So it kind of leads you to believe in the opening up the issue. It's like, dang, well, this Ghostmaker is all he's hyped up to be, man. And then you get Bruce at the kind of the end of the issue. Is like he kind of utters the words Denton Quill, and then it's kind of Ghostmaker's like, what? And it's like, I've had a member of my family trailing for 2 weeks, waiting for him to reveal where he stores his trophy so we could pin every homicide on him. Those families will have to live with hearsay now. We'll never know how many victims he had. The judges were under the thumb of an international mob boss named Tiger Shark. You just destroyed a RICO case that would have put the master criminal away for life. Replaced the ammunition for the weapons from Santa
Mm-hmm.
Prisca days ago with faulty shells, and was waiting to take down their buyers here in Gotham. I'm not perfect, Ghostmaker. This is a dangerous city, and I can always do better. But you don't understand Gotham or what it needs. I thought
Yeah.
that was like super cool how James Tynion kind of wrote that in. It's like, okay, you open up the issue where you're thinking like, damn, this Ghostmaker is really good,
Oh
and
yeah.
then you end it. Okay, no, he's not as good as Batman.
Right.
you
Well,
know, so
Bru-
Batman knows Gotham. Batman knows what it needs, and he's on a different level.
I mean, you got to think that like Batman is willing to let him do his way of crime fighting as long as he doesn't go into Gotham. So he's super protective of Gotham, right? If you're not in my city limits, do whatever you want. I'm not going to internationally go after you. But as soon as you step into Gotham, I'm going to treat you like every other lawbreaker, and I will find you and I will take you down. And I love that line that Bruce says also in there, where it's I know I have been able to, he's never been able to beat me since age 20.
Right.
And
Yeah, that
so
was
it kind of adds a little bit of like that, what I think what keeps Ghostmaker going is the fact that he has yet to beat Bruce. And I mean, maybe that's why he decides to join him. If you can't beat him, join him. But like, that's the thing, is he can't beat Bruce.
yeah. And then I guess we'll have to wait to see where the story picks up after the Future State wraps up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the story within the story, which is Clown Hunter and Harley Quinn. Where Ghostmaker sets it up so where he's got them all captured, and he's got them tied up with Harley Quinn and Bruce Wayne and or Batman, and he's let Clown Hunter loose because Clown Hunter has it in for Harley Quinn. And if you haven't read the issues prior, it's like Joker killed,
His parents.
yeah, and Harley Quinn was there, so and
Mm-hmm.
she was only there, and that kind of sets up the backstory in earlier issues for Clown Hunter and his origin. And you get cutting to the scene where you get a Clown Hunter that's the only one that's not tied up, and Batman and Harley Quinn are tied up in, after they've been captured by Ghostmaker in Arkham. underground. And it's funny because it opens up with like Bruce going like, where am I? And then and then Ghostmaker's like, cut the crap, you know where you're at. You can tell by like what he says, the tile on the wall or something like
No,
that.
by like the type of concrete on the wall.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then
exactly.
immediately he goes Gotham or Arkham.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought that was, cool little story there as well too, because you got a relatively new character, Clown Hunter, and you're kind of developing it, him into what James wants him to be. So
Mm-hmm.
I was really interested in that too.
Well, it's kind of
Um,
cool because Ghostmaker kind of makes, because Batman doesn't really brag, right? Batman's always nonchalant. People would be like, "Oh my god, like Batman, we found this, this, and this," and he goes, "Yeah." Then it goes here, 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 and then else connects to here too. And it's like, what? Like he knows, but he always keeps it to himself. He's very private, even
yeah,
to the family, And I love that I love how they are calling everyone, all the members, the family, right? Because but Ghostmaker brings up a good point though, where he says, Batman is kind of a sucker for helping troubled youth, and especially with Clown Hunter losing his parents. It's like that's like his weakness, right? Is to feel emotionally connected to someone.
yeah, exactly. And you get the kind of almost the same origin where you got of Clown Hunter that you got Batman, and Batman sort of feels for him. That's why it seems like Ghostmaker's like you could have taken him out, but you have feelings and you care for him too much or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm kind of shocked. I'm like really
I thought,
interested. I'm really interested to see like Clown Hunter's range of ability and skill, because in these issues you don't really see him do a lot of physical action besides kind of like doing like the normal teenage thing, but he's just a kid. I mean, he's a kid who's not trained. He has a bat with a batarang tied to it, and yet he's taking down the what do they call them? They call them Smilers.
yeah, the little the henchman for the Joker. Yeah,
Leftover men who mentally and physically are still affected by the toxin.
yeah.
I thought that was
So
kind of cool.
yeah, and you get Clown Hunter. He's just like you said. He's just a kid, and we're yet to find out. He appears as a vigilante, and we're yet to find out if he going to be develop into a foe or develop into someone that Bruce Wayne takes in as a part of the family and kind of trains him and brings him into his way of doing things. So that's yet to be seen as well in the story. So and then you also have like the reappearance of the Lucius Fox family. You got his
Yes.
his daughter, his sons, man, that come out in issue 101. Which when I read it, I was like, well, why are they bringing all the family back out? And then you get the news that Tim Fox is going to be the new Batman, and it's like, oh, no wonder.
Yeah.
And then I'm wondering if
Which
tomorrow Fox is
help
going to
help
be.
okay, help me figure this out. I read it. I read that page twice. I'm trying to figure out the gentleman who's leaning up against the wall. Is that Tim Fox? Is the other one because the guy who's originally talking to Lucius Fox's daughter is the one who looks like the same guy on the cover of Future State Batman as Tim Fox in the batsuit without the cowl. But the guy against the wall, he refers to him as, "Oh, you got a hold of Tim or Timothy also."
Right. I got to look at the page. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but I
Is
know
it?
when they open up, you first see Luke Fox, and then they cut to this next panel, which is to the right.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to Tim Fox. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to,
It's
but
that one, but it's because it's the three siblings.
right,
But the one against the wall, when they cut to him on the right, they have the out of the box uh sentence, which is from the one of the siblings. I don't know both. I don't know the other two siblings' names, but so I'm trying to figure out which boy is Tim, because one looks more like Tim. The other one, I think they're referring to Tim, doesn't look like Tim from the cover, but yeah, no, man. And like that part really caught like what sucked me into this 5 issues was Lucius basically telling Bruce, "I have your money. I'm keeping your money because if I just give you all your money back, that's gonna have you be under."
yeah, you're under like he's under government like surveillance or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
him giving the money back will bring a bigger eye to Bruce. And
Especially
I
on
thought it
his
was cool
spending.
when they opened up. Yeah, exactly. I thought it was cool when they opened up with Grifter, kind of defending what seems to be like a bodyguard for Lucius Fox,
Mm-hmm.
and that little and all along, Grifter knows that Batman's coming, but you still see them fighting, but you don't find out that Grifter knows until Lucius Fox like, I told you he was coming, man.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's cool. And then you see Grifter actually pull out one of those pop-up guns out of his sleeve and bang, right point blank at Batman's head, man.
Yep.
I was like, oh man,
Or like
you
when
can't.
Batman sucker
Batman,
punches him, he goes, "Oh, I think you broke a rib."
yeah,
I loved it.
man. So you know, I thought that was a cool little scene that they had in 101, and then you know, in the other 103, I think it is, you get no 105, you get a mention of the first two letters of Ghostmaker's actual name, which is KH. And in true comic book fashion, they don't want to give the his actual name out too quick, I guess, huh?
Yeah, well, this is when Bruce is coming back to Gotham. He feels like he's ready, and Ghostmaker shows up in like an early Ghostmaker costume, and basically says, from here on out, you'll never see my face. You'll never say my name out loud ever. Don't never say my name out loud again, because Ghostmaker is trying to convince Bruce, hey, if you let your emotions be your weakness, you won't make it 2 weeks into this crime world, and you will get yourself killed. And they bring that up, where Ghostmaker's like, how many times have you literally encountered death because you choose people over just doing what will be safe for you? And Batman goes, well, how many times have you been close to death? Kind of jab at him again. But that's when he took it personal, like a best friend sense of like, he doesn't view Ghostmaker's view on crime fighting, which is an art, where Batman uses it as a tool for vengeance.
Yeah. So
So KH, man, I think it's either some. I'm thinking it has to be some sort of like really kind of foreign style name. I would love it if it was like Kale, or
I mean, how many really names have KH? But I feel like when they reveal it, you're gonna be like, oh, I would have never thought of that.
it's probably
Like,
gonna it's probably something like
honored.
K Halen or K
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So whenever they do reveal his name, if they ever do, I bet we're gonna be like, oh, I would have never thought of that. But who knows?
Yeah.
So
But also like another cool thing that I thought was great, and I think Ghostmaker would bring as a really good contributing for the family, that he's pushing Nightwing to be better, because Nightwing did so much research on Ghostmaker, or at least for what he can find, because he thought that Ghostmaker was Bruce's first sidekick, and he wants
right,
to be better than Ghostmaker by proving he can beat Ghostmaker. Which, think about it. We see so many times where Dick has to take the mantle of Batman, and rightfully so. Besides Damian, which we've seen Damian recently become Batman.
right.
Like a really short Batman, but still like a young Batman. But Dick, honestly, he's the next one in line to become Batman. So you got to think that filling Batman's shoes, you have to beat his opponent, which is also Ghostmaker.
Yeah, and in Deceased Dead Planet, you see, Damian Wayne become Batman because Batman actually dies in that series. But yeah, I'm super excited to see, what direction they go with Nightwing. And we're getting, I think it was just announced that after Future State, the writer on Nightwing is going to be Tom Taylor, which I really like his work. If you read it before, it's in my opinion, it's really good. He's done like Deceased Dead Planet. He's done that. He's done Injustice. Um, he's done a couple other titles, but his writing style is really good in my opinion. So I'm excited to one of the books that I'm actually excited post Future State to get back into.
Yeah, I'm excited
So
for Future State to start, because I cannot wait to see new development with these new characters. I cannot wait to see Tim Fox on his journey of becoming Batman, because it's like they got the money, and now they're going to use the money to buy resources, to for him to be Batman. And that it makes me intrigued of like what happens to Bruce. Is Bruce going to be hurt? Is Bruce going to let him take on the mantle for a little bit?
right, and I know there's a lot of people um, that are not going to be picking up Future State because I guess it's so radical, you know. of a change, but with all these new characters and them pushing towards diversity a little bit. But I'm going to be reading quite a lot of those issues
Yeah.
because I'm really interested to see what direction that they go with the characters. There's also a lot of people that don't like the people that are writing the new series. So, but like I said, I'm going to be picking it up. I'm going to be reading it just
Yeah.
because I'm a Batman fan, and I'm going to be reading a couple other titles. So, um, something new, something different, and I think something to me at least it seems sounds interesting.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I think radical changes is what makes things fresh. But also, I mean, like these radical stories that we hear in any universe is like the funnest, cool little facts to be like, did you know that Tim Fox was Batman for a short while? Like that kind of stuff is like I think is super cool. And like those are the kind of things I think that add more interesting depth to the character's mythology in general. Like we've had so many different people become Batman, and it's really cool because you can actually figure out like who does a good job, as good a job as Bruce, or even better. And I mean, look, throughout the rest of Batman's history, we'll always get revamps of Bruce always being Batman, but giving someone else the chance to do the mantle, I think is really cool. I like those. I love those stories. Like I love seeing different characters, different people taking up the mantle. Like that's why I love Terry McGinnis so much. He's not Bruce, but yet he has to have the same responsibilities as Batman. He has Bruce overseeing him. I like seeing different people be our favorite characters.
Yeah, it provides kind of a fresh take on the character and something
Yeah,
new, a different direction, especially if you're kind of tired of reading, the same old story. But I think a lot of it depends on the writer as well. It's how well you can tell the story and how well, you can portray the character is going to keep people interested or not interested. So I think a big part of you know of sales is going to be on the writer. You have to be able to write a good story. So it doesn't matter if a new character, old character or not. It's just you got to be able to write the story
hmm
well, where people are gonna stay engaged. So
yeah. I mean, even I think it's 105 is when Batman says, "As I get older, the city gets younger."
mm,
But he's aware of his limitations and the fact that he gets older. Like I mean, he stays going as Batman as long as he can. We see him. We've seen old Batman in Dark Knight. We've seen old Batman in Kingdom Come, and he goes to to the point where he uses tech as a crutch to help him keep continuing his journey. But I mean, in the end, he is just human.
yeah, and that's what separates him from a lot of other heroes. And he's the biggest hero on DC side, at least. Biggest seller, biggest icon. So you got Superman following short behind, not far behind, but he's the seller, man. He's Bruce Wayne, Batman. You know,
Yeah, I would really love to see Henry Cavill do another Superman movie. I feel like he never got to do a sequel to Man of Steel, and I think seeing another Man of Steel or Man of Steel 2 or whatever would be super good. I mean, I know he's busy with Justice League and he's busy with he's actually busy with Witcher. They had to pause production on Witcher because he hurt his leg doing a stunt.
oh yeah, I read that too, man. I thought that I was
hmm
like, um, yeah. So he did a good job in playing Superman, and I like his take on it and his portrayal of Superman. So you know, I I hope we get another Superman tale from him too, but we'll see.
Yeah,
There's a lot of issues that need to work out right now, especially with um, DC rolling out all the new movies to HBO Max. I know there's a lot of dispute with that with producers, directors, actors, stuff like that.
they're rolling out the 2021 line of movies because right now they've announced that the Batman, for example, will not be on HBO Max as of now.
Yeah. Hmm.
They plan on doing it in theaters because I mean we still have another like 13, 14 months till the Batman even shows up.
Right. And actually, Zack Snyder actually just responded with he an actual hard date of when the Snyder Cut's going to be coming out.
Oh, really? What's the date?
Yeah, I think it was. I'm trying to look for it. I had it on my phone somewhere.
I just know that the biggest thing I've seen recently for Zack Snyder cut news is the that well that Ben Affleck is going to say fuck as Batman. and
Yeah,
they
so they're thinking about doing it at an R rating or something like that.
yeah.
I think it was. Let me see if I can find the article.
Because I mean,
But
look,
uh,
DC is a little bit more darker than Marvel in certain aspects, and I think with cinematography wise and film wise, I think if they go for the realistic films, and I think if they go a little bit more darker and edgier, that those films will do better.
I think so too. I think a lot of the people like things a little bit more realistic, and if you're gonna have superhero movies, there's gonna be a lot of blood and guts and stuff like that. So not all of them are made for kids.
Yeah,
So I think a lot of people are excited
I
about
mean,
that. But
Harley
let's see.
Quinn in issue 101 to 105 was super vulgar.
Yeah,
And Clownheart,
yeah.
they
But
said
that's just
shit and they said fucking like so many times. I'd be like, oh wow, they're really bringing some profanity even into the comics.
yeah. I'm trying to find this Snyder Cut release. Oh, it's September 5th, 2021. So
September?
yeah, September 5th.
Dang, they're pushing it back even further.
Wait, hold on one second. I want to make sure that's right.
'Cause I know they were
Zack Snyder just released, like, he literally, I just read it the other day where he released when it's gonna be released. I thought it was earlier than that though.
yeah. Well, I thought they
I'm
were
gonna find
trying.
it.
I thought they were teasing for like March, like between March and May, like kind of because I mean it's like
Oh, it's March. It's March. Yeah, you're right. It's gonna be March 2021.
okay, yeah, yeah. That's what they've been. That's what they've been aiming for. When we did our first episode, that's what I was saying. Was the CEO of Warner's Media was saying that basically, um, he put a time frame that basically after the Tiger Woods documentary is when the next big thing on HBO Max was gonna be the Snyder Cut, and the Tiger Woods documentary comes out in January.
Right. So, and I'm super excited to watch that one. And now I have Roku TV, so Roku just hatched a deal with HBO Max, where now I think today or tomorrow it's where it's going to be launching on Roku. So
Oh, really?
I'm now I can watch. Yeah. So now
Oh,
I can watch Wonder Woman from home. The
oh,
2021 releases that are going to be going on to HBO Max.
nice. So my dad has Roku, so I can use that because I'm gonna be back home for Christmas. So I have to watch Wonder Woman 1984, and it's super. The reason why it's so important is so my mom was a super big um, Wonder Woman fan. Like she has a Wonder Woman little sanctuary that she made, and so I know I was hoping she'd make it to see the new Wonder Woman movie. So I'm gonna watch that in honor of like her. And my dad has Roku, so I can watch it on TV. So I don't have to sit on my iPad and watch it. But I'm gonna look up real quick if Amazon made a deal for HBO Max because I like watching it on my iPad. But come on, Amazon, I want to watch all my all my DC stuff because I want to watch Doom Patrol and I want to watch Teen Titans, but I want to watch it on the TV.
Yeah, man, you want to be able to enjoy it and not be squinting the whole the whole time. I mean, I'm going to be for sure watching, on the release date Wonder Woman. Been waiting for that for a little while now, man. I'm just a little disappointed I can't watch in theaters, but um, it is what it is, and we're dealing with a situation that we have at hand. It's more important for everybody to be safe than to
Mm-hmm.
go out and watch a movie. So
So right now
like I said,
the go ahead.
I'll be watching it day of release. So maybe we can get on after it's released, we can go ahead and do a recap on the movie.
Yes. Oh, I'm super excited for the movie. And you know what? I don't know why, and I'm ashamed to say it took me so like I just watched Wonder Woman for the first time a couple months ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why it took
It's
me so long.
a long movie, but it's a good movie.
Oh, no, I thought it was a great
Uh,
movie. I thought it was super good. I don't know. I just didn't get around to watch it.
how long is this Wonder Woman cut? I heard it's like past 2.5 hours or something like that, right?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't. Besides what the trailer has announced, besides seeing what's her name, Cheetah. What's the
Yeah.
besides her being in
Huh?
there and having Chris Pine in the movie still, which is kind of I'm interested to see how they do that. Other than that, I don't know the time length. I just know that it got good reviews.
2 hours and 35 minutes.
Oh, that's it.
So
That's a
it's a
brief.
long one.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's yeah, like Scorsese has a bunch of those long movies, but I think the longer for me, if it's a good movie and it keeps you interested, the better.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
rather have a long good movie than a short
Bad movie.
quick one, like a short bad movie. So like I said, I keep hearing good things about it too. So come Christmas, I'll be watching that.
Nice. Awesome, man. Yeah. So that's I mean that's pretty much what we got coming out for new news before Christmas. I mean, I'm definitely going to be reading some other stories. Guiltily, now that I have access to the Batman Forever and Batman Returns comic, I actually really want to read the comics that were based on the movie.
Yeah, man. We can do that, and I want to read the next. Hopefully, we can do like a review of future state books that are coming out
Oh
with
yeah.
the new anything like that.
I want to be in top of Future State. Now that I have this source to read comics, any comic series that I want, I definitely want to start Joker War. I want to start Punchline. I basically want to catch up on what is all the side stories to the 2016 Batman storyline that we're reading now. So I'm basically going to
Mm.
start with all three of those and start working my way up and just start chipping away at this huge block of content and just kind of catching up because I've I know a little bit about Joker Wars, like the like the overall gist of it, but I haven't read each issue of it, and so that's something I definitely want to read too.
Yeah, maybe once you read it, we can get on here, back on here, and talk
Mm-hmm.
about Joker War. Tom King was a previous writer, and then you had James Tynion hop on, and that's when I know a lot of people didn't like Tom King's Batman, but you got James Tynion now, and he's created a bunch of new characters and developed a story, which I think is really good in my opinion. So maybe when you're able to kind of read those issues, we can go back and talk about those ones.
Yeah, definitely. Cool, man. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed this issue of Beyond the Cowl. Stay posted on all our social medias for weekly releases, and keep posted on our Twitter for release of issue number 5.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
See you guys soon.